But first, to one of the south of Scotland's oldest railway stations. Dumfries is an award-winning place with a well-looked-after garden and a cafe. But recently, something else has been coming down the tracks. Last year, a railway heritage centre opened here. A trip down memory lane for tourists and travellers alike. And it's all thanks to this man.
So going to Carlisle.
You done today, yeah?
Yes.
So the next one, next train's on the platform 1 at 1:05.
Yes, it's ticketed and checked. Rail worker Douglas Thompson has taken a disused room and turned it into a treasure trove of train memorabilia. Here in Dumfries has been a train station since 1848. That's a lot of history. And if you want to find out more, you'll need to cross to the other platform, where you'll often find Douglas. For him, the platform is the best place to be, because for most of his life, Douglas has lived and breathed locos. How passionate are you about trains?
Oh, I love the trains. Definitely love the trains. It's just the nostalgia of it, you know. It brings out the area alive, having trains going through it.
Douglas once had a whole train set in his loft, but why a rail heritage centre?
As with any hobby, you know, you just don't know when to stop collecting. The next plan was I need something bigger to display it. I thought if I could open something where people could come in, have a chat, watch the videos, read the books, and have a bit of interaction with people, is so much better than just having a couple of window displays where there's nobody there.
Lucky he's got a job working here then, isn't it? Yet it wasn't always so.
As a youngster, I always wanted to be a train driver, you know, but that never really came to fruition.
What did you do instead?
I worked in a shop, believe it or not. I was a manager for the co-op for about 10 years in the shop, and then got married and tried to earn a bit more money, so went into factories, and the last job before I came here was a forklift driver, and I was a national champion forklift driver. Here's the one coming in just now behind us.
Right, okay,
Just
there's
a little
train
one,
coming
that's
in
a fork car.
Douglas has done all sorts of jobs, but his main ambition was sort of realised 9 years ago, applying for a post with ScotRail and working his way up to station supervisor. And you must have thought you'd won the lottery when you got a job on the railways.
Yeah, it's quite a dream job for me working on the railway. Fair enough, it's not an engine driver, but you know, it's the next best thing. You know, you see the trains going by every day and speak to the people that are coming in and out.
In the old days, this station sent trains all over southwest Scotland. This was the age of the steam train. With services to Lockerbie and Stranraer, the station hotel was a very busy place. Yes, back in the day, lines expanded in every direction across the UK, not least here in Dumfries.
It was a really hive of activity, not just for passengers but goods as well. A lot of coal. Coal was the main thing for down here, yeah.
And if the black stuff was important, so too was the white.
Well, they had the branch line up to the Carnation factory over at Georgetown there, so that was really important for the area. They had a little sidings beside the factory, and they ran here constantly 24/7 every day, all over the country, supplying milk for everywhere.
Then hundreds of people found work here, but as with other places, the beaching cuts of the 1960s hit hard. Luckily, this station survived, and it continues to do so, with trains going to places like Carlisle and Glasgow. And if there's a delay, heaven forbid, there's now somewhere interesting to go while you wait. Well, Douglas, it's all steam ahead here, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, and diesel, of course, you know.
So one is steam and the other is diesel.
Yeah, so we've got the Seagull there, which is the sister engine to the Mallard, which broke the world steam record from King's Cross to Edinburgh. So that was a wee donation I got from a member of the public.
Well, if you switch it off and have a wee chat.
There we go.
So people do come in and give you things.
They certainly do. We've had a couple of donations of model trains, the various books, DVDs, even some of the uniforms being donated. Just bits and pieces of memorabilia. You know, people that sat in the attic, lived with their father or their grandfather, and they've just wanted to see them go to a good home.
Well, you're chock-a-block in here. You've got a lot of stuff. Take me through it.
Well, most of the things I miss all are Dumfries and Galloway. So that was the last train that left Dumfries to go to Lockerbie in 1952.
I'm just thinking of those steam trains when they came thundering through here. The noise and
the noise and the
dirt.
smell, I know, and it'd be certainly a noisier station back in the day, I would imagine.
And if it was noisier, was it safe? Well, yes, it probably was, because
Got the token key up on top there, which drivers, if they've got a single line, they have to pass the tokens on so that another train can't come in the opposite direction. There's a photo there. You'll see there's you're probably the signalman, so he'd pass the token key to the driver, and you can see he's got onto a single set track. And then there'll be someone at the opposite end who take the key back off him. So only one train can pass on that single section of line at one time.
here are bits of railway memorabilia from far and wide. Not least the uniforms.
I'd imagine this one, I think, is maybe around about the 1980s, I would say.
Very
Late 70s,
smart.
I think it's very smart, yeah, definitely is. Yeah, but certainly, I'd say about late 70s, early 80s that uniform came from. So we've got all the different railway ties in there, RMT and the various railway companies and old hats.
And you know, they were very smart then, weren't they?
Yeah, well...
Not saying that you're not smart today, but a bit more casual.
Yeah, more casual these days. Certainly, I think the railway had an appearance to keep up. And, you know, you see like the controllers going about with their big three-piece suits on and their big hats, you know, and they looked the part for the job.
Yes, in those days, if you wanted to get ahead, get a hat, preferably a railway one. Here it's all about the past, and it's not just the older generation who've a fondness for those heady days of steam. Harry's a volunteer here at the centre. What is it about the trains?
I just think it awakens like a history which young people like me haven't seen, and it's just a glorious history.
Tell me about the people that come in here. What sort of people come in?
Well, it tends to be a lot of like families and their kids to try and show them like the history, and so it's quite nice, you know. But it tends to be some young people as well who have like experienced the railways, and it's like a revisit to their memories, yeah.
And do you have a favourite train?
Yes, well, I've got several favourite trains. I really like the Flying Scotsman, and I also like, well, it's actually in the cabinet over there, there's the Blue Caledonian Railway locomotive, and I really like that one.
As for Douglas, well, he's not just passing on rail knowledge, he's constantly picking it up as well. You must be learning something almost every day.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, well, people will come in, they'll chat to you, and they'll tell you things you've never heard of. You learn so much from the people that come in, not just the books we have here and the DVDs that's playing there. I mean, the one that's on just now, that's Stranraer back to Dumfries, speeded up. And it shows you all the old stations there and all the old lines. There's so much to learn, and every day you're learning something new.
Douglas Thompson and his Rail Heritage Centre.